Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you all to the December meeting of the Pitt County Board of Directors of Department of Social Services. At this point, we'd like to take a moment for a silent prayer or meditation. Okay. All right. I'd like to have a motion to adopt or revise today's agenda.
I so move, Mr. Chairman.
My second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? I'd like to get a motion about minutes of the previous.
The approval of the minutes, it's mailed, Mr. Chairman.
My second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. And we'll begin next with the status of agency personnel. Mr. Perry.
We have been making progress in the filling of our vacant positions. Since the last time we met, we have filled 6 positions. We have 4 positions that are frozen at the present time. 2 of those positions are retirement. We have Mr. Peter Sword, which is a social work supervisor. He is retiring after 20 years of service with Pitt County Department of Social Services. And we have Ms. Dale Garris, who works in our daycare unit. She is retiring after 18 years of service with Pitt County Department of Social Services. So we want to wish those 2 employees the best as they move forward in their new life.
Okay. All right. Well, that's really sad and good to hear that we've been moving along. But it's hate to lose people with that kind of experience. Again, the thing that I'm appreciating, and kind of speaking on behalf of the board, is the priority rating on the right-hand side, which I think is very important. Just wanted to see what the board was thinking about the priority rating that is on the right-hand side in red letters. And we asked for that because we wanted to see which openings would be filled and in the order. Okay.
Let me ask this.
Sure.
We now stand in pretty good shape as employees filling the positions, Mr. Perry.
We are in pretty good shape with the county manager freezing the positions, giving us an opportunity to fill those positions.
So now we're kind of on schedule as for to what?
We are on schedule to hopefully to have I can't say that because when you think about it, we have promotions with in-house. Yeah. So even if we fill one position, that creates another vacancy through promotion. Yeah. So when we're able to fill outside applicants, it helps us to move faster in getting all our positions filled.
Well, I think we need to be very careful, make sure that we get good personnel that can work with your department, and because there ought to be a lot of them out there now. What I'm saying.
Well, we have over 200 some applicants for each job nearly that we are after. And what we try to do, go through the list and look at for the individuals that got current experience or experience in the different programs. So those are the ones that are given top priority. And in the event that we cannot find anyone with experience, then we do the work against. And within the Office of State Personnel, career, you have to work 2 years before you get career status. So to give us an opportunity to work with employers, and if they do not work out, then
all right, when you say experience, you do check the past history to make sure that we aren't getting some.
Right. I contact the other Department of Social Services, talk to the director or the deputy director to make sure that this person performance is outstanding, that there's no issues, and we don't want to end up with somebody that's trying to get rid of.
That's exactly right.
So by talking to the director, I'm able to get that.
I know we appreciate that very much.
We appreciate that.
Mr. Perry, noticing that in last month's packet there were like 19 vacancies, and this month there are like 21. There is a larger number of vacancies. Is there any way that before the lateral transfer or the promotion takes place, that you could have someone in line for those positions so that there wouldn't be this ongoing lack of staff?
When you are doing a lateral transfer, we do not know who will be applying for the positions. So when we do a lateral transfer, sometimes one of them was moving from long-term care into a supervisory, not supervisor, but a lead worker position. So even though it's a lateral transfer, it's more responsibilities because you're moving into that position. So we never know when we advertise how many applicants we will have in-house or whether or not we even have applicants in-house to apply.
But Mr. Perry, if those people are moving from another position there, are they trained for that position even though they've been in social service?
No, they're not trained for that position.
So they've got to be trained.
Now, they know a lot about the agency, how to use a computer system. So it's a matter of learning the policies and procedures for that different program. It's not about becoming familiar with Pitt County government, the way that we operate. It's just taking the information that you have, learning how to do the resource and eligibility for the different.
And I realize they're already in the system,
Right.
and that means a great deal also. Okay.
Yeah, one of the things that we had talked about earlier was bringing new people in from outside the system versus bringing people that are already in the system and coming into different jobs. And it's, both of them has good and bad because one knows some of the information and we're able to get them in a lot quicker than we are able to move in someone from the outside.
But sometimes we need new blood, don't we?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, new
That's
ideas.
good. Yeah, new ideas.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
We
again,
can always learn from new people coming in.
Sure.
That's right. You're true.
yeah, again, appreciate that, and that helps us out a lot because we can see what kinds of things are being done. Okay. Next, we're going to move on to the, let's see, issues which require board action. There's a budget amendment from the United Way.
Yes, sir. We got several increases since the last meeting. We applied for a United Way grant in the amount of $8,000, and they actually funded us $6,169, which will be used to help the citizens with the utility needs that they have here. Then we got an increase in our regular daycare subsidy of $10,565 and $63,345 for Smart Start daycare funding. The $10,565 is new funding in the subsidy program that we receive from the state, and when we get further back into the thing, you'll see I factored that into our projections for our daycare spending. We didn't know about that, but the $63,345 in Smart Start, that's not really new money. It's just bringing us up to what they promised to give us at the beginning of the year, and we've been using that number the whole time. So in addition, we got $696, which was an increase for home community care block grant funding. This allows us to probably provide a few more hours of in-home aid services to the clients that we're already serving. And then the last budget amendment we got $2,000 from donations from Greenville Utilities, again to be helping citizens of Pitt County with utility needs.
I guess one of the things that jumps out to me right away is that you've been proactive in getting some of the extra money that we lost in terms of some of the VA program that we don't have as much money. So while this is not by any ways filling that loss, I really appreciate the fact that we're doing something proactive to get more of that money in. Is there anything else out on the horizon that we might be able to do to get money to help the people of Pitt County with their utility bills?
The only thing that probably we will get some more donations as the year goes on from Greenville Utilities. But that's, as far as I know, that's the only thing right now that's out there.
Margaret, I wanted to ask you, on the daycare center, Mid-East, they deal with a lot of money for a lot of things. Is there any way that we could get more help, about, I don't know how many counties now that's in the Mid-East, but is there any way that we that we might could get more funding for the daycare centers to help us out here in the county that you know of?
When you talk about Mideast, you mean our Region Q?
Yes, exactly right.
I don't know that we've ever gotten any. Some of the daycare dollars are attached to a specific program in Region Q.
Yeah.
Like WIA or something, but never anything directly to us.
To you all, but don't they have money that they have their own center here somewhere that they
Not that I'm
want to
aware.
check into that?
I'm not aware that
I don't know. That's what I was just.
that Region Q.
I know they deal with a lot of money.
They do.
Yeah, and
And a lot of those programs are like through the Employment Security Commission, Job Link, those kinds of
Yes.
things, not through our department.
but you're in a position to use it to the best.
Well, if we referred a client to a program over there and they were accepted in that program, and there were daycare dollars attached to that program, I'm sure that person would be able to take advantage of it.
Okay, all right. I was just wondering about that.
And I agree with what you're saying, because with these cuts, we're going to have to be very creative in getting more of a
money
funding
wherever we can.
that we're losing. So I know you guys are really working really hard, and we do appreciate that. But we're really going to have to really be creative in a lot of ways to deal with some of the budget shortfalls, from lack of better terms. All right. I'd like to, I need to make a motion, is that correct? I'd like to make a motion that these issues and funds are accepted.
I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. The motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? All right. Next, we're going to move on to holiday.
May I ask this? That was for all the budget amendments.
That was
is
for
correct?
four.
For all
Yeah.
the budget
Was there any
amendments.
more discussion on any of those? Okay. All right. Next, we're going to look at holiday cheer.
Well, Mildred and Cynthia allowed me to stand in for them today, since
Oh.
they're so busy out there being Santa
Cheerful?
Claus. So they made me rehearse a little bit, but Mildred wanted me to remind everybody, viewing public, that they're still working very hard to make sure all of our 100-plus children in foster care have a really happy holiday. That you can still purchase generic toy or clothing items, sponsor a child from their own personalized list, or contribute a financial donation. The items may be dropped off at this location, 1717 West 5th Street, or calls can be placed to Mildred Daniels at 902-1134. Adult Services wanted me to let you know that many of our adults have been sponsored, and they've just had a very successful year this year. But they are still seeking some monetary donations for unique items, such as things that are not covered by insurance. Like, there's a couple clients that need a small repair to equipment, glasses, repairs to glasses, some personal supplies. So again, any donations can be mailed to 1717 West 5th Street, attention adult foster care. Or if you have any questions, you can call Greta O'Quinn at 902-1205. Any questions on that?
No, I think it's very important that we encourage people to give.
Absolutely.
And this is one way that we can do it.
Our community is so generous. I mean, they are just so generous.
So we hope all of you out there can help us out.
Okay. And with some of those specialty items, so we have a good number of vendors and people in the community that do handle those services. And is there a way they can find out about that? In particular, you were talking about glasses. Would some of the optometrists or ophthalmologists be able to find out about what's needed?
Yeah, if they would call Retta.
They would call?
Retta,
Okay.
and she'll work that out, those details out.
As I look around here, I see a lot of us are wearing glasses, so maybe we could talk to some of our ophthalmologists. Okay. Next, we go on to the LEAP, and that'll be Gwen.
The Low Income Energy Assistance Program, or LEAP program, started last Monday, December the 3rd. This program provides a one-time payment annually to eligible families to help with their heating expenses. You must make an application in order to receive the resource. There's no automatic eligibility anymore, and the checks are mailed directly to whoever you get your heat from, whether it's the gas company, the utility company, or whatever, but the checks no longer go directly to the client. They are sent to the vendor. And the benefit amount is based on the household size and the income of the household. There is a priority group that is able to apply between December 1st, 2012 through January 31st. And these are folks who are age 60 and above or receiving services through the Division of Aging and Adult Services. Any household that has a person living there who is age 60 or above is eligible to apply at this time. And we encourage you to come on in quickly and apply, because the funds are based on the availability of the funds being there. Once we're out of funds, we're going to be out of funds. That will be it for the program. When you come in, you also need to bring in what you need to apply for the program. Income verification for the month that prior to you applying, and we would need the gross amount of your Social Security, retirement, child support contributions. We need to include everyone that's living in your household, and any income that anyone in your household receives. We need the birthday and Social Security number of everyone in your household and proof of how you heat your home. We need to know, for instance, who you get your utilities from and an account number for your account at that vendor. You can apply at the Pitt County Department of Social Services at 203 Government Circle, or across the river, as we call it. And if you need to call us, you can reach us at 902-1110. We also partner with Pitt County Council on Aging, and they also take applications. And they're located at 4551 County Home Road, and they can be reached at 752-1717. I do want to mention that Council on Aging will be closed during the Christmas break. Their last day that they're open in December is Friday, December 21st, and they will not reopen until January 3rd, 2013. So if you want to make an application, you will have to come to the Department of Social Services during that time period if you were planning to go to Council on Aging. Council on Aging will post a note on their door for anyone wishing to apply to please do so at the Department of Social Services after Friday, December the 21st.
I have a question. What is the difference, I probably should know this, between the SIP program and the LEAP program?
Okay. The LEAP program provides that one-time vendor payment, and it is funded separately from the SIP program. It's a different funding policy.
Is it ongoing and not just limited to like the cold months?
The LEAP program is limited through that 1 month. And in the past, we used to take applications in November up until December, and the checks were issued in February. So it was just a one-time check that went to the clients to help with their heating expenses. What happened a couple of years ago, that they moved away from writing the checks to the clients, and the checks go directed to the vendor payment. The crisis intervention program has two different components. It has a heating component as well as a cooling component, and the crisis program runs from July the 1st of each year to June 30th, so individuals can come in for heating-related emergencies as well as for cooling-related emergencies. But the LEAP program is a one-time payment that has been designated. And what they're trying to do with the LEAP program is to try to get more elderly people to come in to apply. So that's one of the major differences, and it's done during the month. We take the application out of the month of December, and we finish February unless we run out of funds. And the checks are made vendor payments are made directly to the vendor as opposed to the clients.
Am I wrong? Don't they have more programs for young people than they have to do the elderly?
We have more young people that come in for assistance than the elderly.
Yeah, but your elderly, I know, like in my era, they're in great need, a lot of them. They really are.
And that's one reason.
I think a lot of them are not being served as well. You just take food as an example. Those school buses are riding 12 months a year, hauling all these kids to eat. But the elderly, well, you just don't get nothing. That's what it boils down to, however what they can get.
And that's why the state looked at having it for 60 and disabled, doing those applications first, so that those individuals would be served first, and if there was any money left over, then beginning in January, they will open it up for everyone else. So hopefully, getting the message out to the elderly, and then our adult services and our social workers working with their clientele, that we can serve more elderly people during this time period. And working with the Council on Aging, where they serve a lot of elderly, that we get the message out to that population.
It's beginning February 1st that we serve everyone else, if there's any money left over.
Maybe will help out. So.
Yes.
Okay. How are we doing so far in terms of applicants?
We had, as of last Thursday, we've had 166 applications that have been completed. And last year, we served over 700 people. So in that first week, we almost served almost 200 already.
Okay. All right. And you want people to come in
as
soon as possible?
Yes, we're encouraging people to come in as soon as possible, because it's based on as long as the funds are available.
And I can't remember the cut, but I think it was at least 30 to 40% less than we had in the prior years.
Yes.
Is that right?
Year before last, we the funds that we gave out to people was 1.7 million. Okay. Last year it was 378,000. This year is 303,000.
So we're taking a significant cut there.
Yes.
And lot less funds. So we want everybody to apply as soon as possible. And I think you mentioned the CHIP program as well as
SIP.
SIP, as well as the Council on Aging as other options that people might seek help from.
One other question. Gwen, who is doing who's taking the applications on Riverside?
Across the river, Sybil Meeks oversees the program. Frida Massey, Linda Cox is back working with us. She used to be a food and nutrition supervisor. And who am I leaving out?
Any permanent employees, or any of your permanent employees doing these apps?
Teresa Fleming
Okay.
from the SIP program is also, she last year also helped out with LEAP during that time frame. So we have a person who in-house, and she is familiar with the computer system. She helps us out a whole lot in running our online verifications and those kinds of things.
Okay. All right, we're going to move on to temporary employees in the NC FAST program. Brian?
Thank you. I'd like to give just a brief update on where we are, excuse me, with NC FAST. We're very appreciative that we were approved to hire 4 temporary employees to assist in converting cases. When recertifications are done, the first recertification that's done for an existing case, a conversion process has to be done. And so the temporary employees, along with our existing staff, will be working to convert cases. Those cases will download over this upcoming weekend, and beginning Monday, December 17th, the conversion process will begin. So each recertification form that is received, the case will be converted, and then the caseworker will do the recertification. We know there will be some delays simply because this is an additional step that has to be done. Once an existing case is converted, the next time the recertification is done at 6 months or 12 months, depending on the type of case that it is, and it's converted, then that process does not have to be done each time. All that has to be done is the recertification, verification, and recertification of the Food and Nutrition Services allotment. We have contacted the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina, and their staff are aware of the process, what we're facing. So they understand that we will probably be making more referrals during this period than normal to assist people to get through. They have provided us with an updated contact list of their partners, so we're prepared in that area to try to offer referrals and assist if clients need assistance in getting some food until the recertification can be completed. Of course, December is a short month because there'll be 4 fewer work days because of the Christmas holidays. So we're ready to go Monday, and we're going to work as diligently as the staff always have, and they're dedicated to doing the very best job they can with this transition.
Well, that's really good news, because last meeting we were concerned about that. So really thank Michael Elliott for really pushing that through, because that was a major concern, because we were learning a new program as well. We were somewhat short-staffed, so I really appreciate that. Any other questions on that? Okay. Next, we're going to go to the daycare report, and Margaret Dixon, you're up again.
Before I do my part, as requested, we're giving you an update each month of where our expenditures are. Right now, we're working, Ms. Quinn has the expenditures for October. Right now, we're working on November service month. So she's going to give you an update of what happened in October. And as you know, based on what happens each month, you know, we're making a decision for February on whether we need to terminate go down into the 7-year-olds. 164 children parents got letters that their after school will be terminating January 1st. So, you know, each month we'll update you on that. So,
if you look at your chart, you can see that for the month of November, which is the payment of November services paid in December, we are projecting $570,000 to be what our payment is. And when I came up here this morning, I checked just before I came up here to see where we were standing. The accounting technician has processed a little over half of the day sheet attendees for this month, and we're at $577,720. So we're still just a little bit above what our projected is. And we were projecting for this month, the only reduction would be from normal attrition, where people just no longer needed a daycare. And as I told you earlier, we did get the $10,000, and I factored that in to our money, and we still are having to reduce. It might save one or two children that we might not have to go to, but we should be okay. I believe that by the time we get to the end of this year, the end of this processing, and we close out daycare for this month, we'll probably be really close to our projected number of $570,000. And but where we're going to really, you'll be able to see the reduction in expenditures due to having to take children off the program will be in February when we make the payment for January. So we're still monitoring it really, really close and hoping that that our projections were pretty much right on.
In Mary's absence, she's gonna, I know she would have one question. I think you answered it. How many children are we talking about that will not be able to get services?
Well, when we first did our plan, we were looking at 300 children, and it was 100 each month. But we've sent out letters to how many did you say?
164. That's all of the 9 and 8-year-olds.
Yes. And once those will be the ones that won't have services in January. And once we pay our January payment, we'll know kind of where we need to go from there with the rest of the children. But our original projection was 300 children.
And it doesn't look like we're going to be getting those funds. Is that correct?
No, sir.
So we might as well plan that this is.
Pretty much, yes, sir. What happened at the state level, they lost $17 million in federal dollars that come to the and they send it down to the county. So, that was $17 million that was taken right off of the top. Well, in addition to that, Governor Perdue went into the subsidy funding for the More at 4 program and took up, I think it was another $20 million. So from what I'm hearing from the state, there's not any chance that we're going to get any additional funds.
So we might as well plan for that then.
The second part of our daycare report, probably we haven't had a little update or talk about star ratings for a while, but we do have new board members, and we may have people that are listening in for the first time today. So just a little background on stars. In 1999, the Division of Child Development began issuing star-rated licenses to all eligible child care centers and family daycare homes. Facilities could receive 1 to 5 stars. Programs that chose voluntarily to meet higher standards could apply for a 2 or up to 5-star license. The star rating was initially comprised of a facility's score in 3 quality component areas: staff education, program standards, and compliance history. That's how it started. Then in 2005, the way facilities were evaluated was changed in order to give parents better information about a program's quality. The new rules make a 75% compliance history a minimum standard for a licensed facility. And those are based on 2 components that give parents the best indication of quality: again, staff education and program standards. If you remember, some of you, why North Carolina went to a star-rated licensing system is because North Carolina did not offer enough information to parents about the quality of its child care programs in North Carolina, and which is one of the reasons they moved to this system. That being said, in your packet on page 18, I've put in the packet today what I think are some tools that you can use moving forward, especially when we begin talking again about the budget and talking about planning for next year, as we've alluded to a minute ago. But if you look on page 18 of your packet, the first thing that I've given you is the website, the NC Division of Child Development and Early Education. And this is the copy of the web page. So as you can see, there's a lot of information for parents. They can find out anything about the child care system, child care rules, laws, public information about the Child Care Commission in North Carolina, about the pre-K program that was just mentioned, about SEEK, okay? They can check on criminal record checks, career opportunities. Then there's a drop-down box that you can go into for providers if you're a actual daycare provider. And then there's a section for county staff to go into. It is a very informative website. So I wanted you to be aware of it if you weren't, so that you can utilize it if you have a question between board meetings or you need it as a, for a reference. On page, it was page 18, on page 19, I wanted to just give you a copy of the letter that talks about the state budget bill in 2011, which limited now our use of 1- and 2-star centers, okay? That's when subsidy payments could no longer go to non-licensed homes or to 1- and 2-star facilities, okay? They indicate in this letter, as you'll see, that there was there'll be a transition period, and you can also utilize them only if there was not adequate number of slots available in your county, but we have not ever experienced that. On page 20, this is a letter, a little bit more about that transition, and I've attached to that also for your reference at any point is what 1-star centers have to do and be working on in order to continue to receive subsidy payments to get themselves up to a 3. It tells you, kind of outlines, as you can see, what it is they have to do and the time frames they have to do it in. So it's just there for your reference, okay?
That letter, is the one from Ron Bird? Is that the one you're
Yes,
referring to?
August 28, 2012, correct. And then the other thing, but just, I thought I'd give you a little look into when we talk about 1 stars, 2 stars, up to 5 stars. In Pitt County, okay, we have 17 1-star facilities. Now you'll notice that in one of the, both letters, religious sponsored providers are exempt from the star rating, okay? So we have 17 of those, which serve 206 children in our county. 9 of those 17 are religious providers, okay? We have 6 2-star providers serving 53 children in our county. We have 43 star centers, 37 4-star centers, and 32 5-star centers. So that's a total of 109 in our county. Also, just for your information and to use as a tool and future reference, I've provided with you the market rates, okay? You can look at every county in the state on the market rate report, and I just want to caution you that there are 2 reports here. One are the market rates for family child care homes, and then one is the market rates for licensed child care centers, okay? Just so that you can always, and you can find this on their webpage also. Any questions on any of that? Hopefully you will find that helpful.
Yeah, it was very interesting looking at the different rates and the differences between a 1-star versus a 5-star.
True.
And it ranges from $75 to $100, roughly.
Right.
What
And it varies from county to county.
just in terms of one thing, what is with the letters that went out? How have the people that are no longer going to be handling service? What is their response?
We've had some calls. I mean, I guess that you can talk about it and send letters, but when it actually happens, when you actually get the termination, not that you didn't know, but there's just something about getting that.
What has the effect been, just in general, that the callers have said? You know, as an example, does this mean, did they say, I'm not going to be able to work now, I'm not going to be able to
I
do
think
this?
Questions are, I mean, we have to stick with the fact that, you know, when there's a reduction in funds, because, you know, on the reverse side, if you'll remember, when we got that $1 million in daycare stimulus funding, you know, we went the other way and brought on as many families. So, I mean, you know, which was great for families.
Sure.
Great. You know, that's probably the happiest times that in the DSS daycare is when you have money, you know,
Extra
and you
money.
can help people, absolutely. Some of the providers have called, which is a little surprising to me because they're the ones we've put so much focus on, and as you know, they're the ones we sent a letter to ask them would they like to negotiate or, you know, any rates on that, you know.
Have any of their minds changed
We'll see.
once things
We'll
became
see.
more realistic?
We'll see.
Okay.
Yes, I'm just interested, these after school kids, how many of their parents do all of them have jobs?
Well, as I share with you, 98% of the families that we serve are employed. Okay.
So they do have jobs. All right, now, and that child care center, those that are in there is based upon the salary that these parents are making?
Right, for any child that gets
Yeah, for
subsidy.
any child.
True, yes.
How often do you update that to make sure that we're not giving some that's not entitled to it, and we could probably give some that are entitled to it?
Well, the staff try to do a really good job at quarterly reviews.
So they each
Right.
quarter
They
you look at
randomly
that.
pull cases on a quarterly basis to make sure, you know.
That each one of them is.
We try to at least have a system in
Because
place.
I think that's very important,
We agree.
yeah. Because, you know,
now-
they change jobs.
Yeah,
get more-
change jobs, get more money, as well as less money.
Yeah.
If a family, however, is getting food stamps, we are required to use whatever income is in that food stamp system. We cannot ask them to provide anything else. So we're just, you know, using that system.
We have the website in our packet, but could you say the website?
I didn't.
Oh, you did?
No,
I said, would you? I'm sorry.
well, no, I can't
Oh, you can't. Oh, okay.
because I don't know it. But
Isn't it on here?
No,
it should be on the bottom of the. Yep, you're
Is it
right,
on?
Brian. It's found the very bottom of the page.
NC Childcare?
GHH, yeah. Yeah, I forgot it was down there.
Okay, and that website
But if
is.
you just Google NC Division of Child, it'll come up.
Okay, it'll come up. Okay. I was gonna just ask you about the, two of these letters. We got one from Deborah Cassidy, which was, July 18th. Now, she goes back to August 1st, 2001, where that change was made. That's not a typo, is that? Okay. And this letter, the one from Ron Bird, essentially says these are some ways that you can cope with the change in the money that you're going to be getting. Is that?
Well, no, this is still referring to the stars.
Oh, okay.
You
All
know,
right.
no, we're not dealing, this is all about the stars. I
Okay.
wanted you to have this information.
Okay.
So, you know, why we're not using 1 and 2 stars, in what cases can we use 1 stars, those being religious. We can use 1 and 2 stars if they are making progress toward getting their 3 stars. And just kind of the breakdown of what it might look like, what it looks like in the county in terms of how many, because I know you've asked this question, how many 3 stars do we have, 4 stars, and 5 stars?
Okay. Well, that's really good because as I was reading through some of this information, some of this background compared with with the various market rates is really helpful, so I appreciate that.
I know you'll probably bring that to each meeting as a reference, right?
Oh, no doubt about it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. Next, we're going to move on to the director's report.
I think that on that we really need, and I think that feels the same way, I know she does, that we need Charles and all of them here to hear that.
Yeah.
What you think?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, us. I think we need to wait on that, and the next go around, maybe they'll all be here so that we can all be involved in that.
Okay, that sounds good.
Is there anything wrong with that?
We serve at your pleasure.
Well,
You're talking about the director's report.
yes,
Okay.
not you, no, that's
Yeah,
on that, you know, down
I was
there.
hoping you weren't coming.
Charge. No, that was, I think we all need to be involved, full board on something like that.
Okay,
I agree.
Okay.
okay. All right. Okay, so we're going to move on to the director's report then.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be part of his,
What was that?
that was part of his report, I
Yeah.
think, too, was
Mhm.
George. on that.
Right.
Yeah, what you want to do.
Kind of
Okay.
confused here. There's two things in my direct report. One thing is when you look at the flow chart.
Yeah.
The flow chart has been completed. I thank Hardit for working with me on getting the flow chart up. We have put the flow chart up in each building. Also, I have pulled together a team to look at how we can electronically capture the information. We'll be looking at policies and procedures, customer concerns, where the customer complaints dealing with, the way that staff act and return the telephone calls. So we have put together a team to look at those issues. And while we're looking at how can we capture that information electronically as opposed to keeping paper, and you got to tabulate all the different papers, how many you got from this worker, how many you received from this supervisor. So we have put together a technology team that's working on how we can capture that information electronically. But this flow chart has been put up. We can discuss it next month if you want to in more detail.
This was Mr. Mayo's question and his concern, and I think that he needs to be present.
Yeah.
Sure. Sure. I guess some of the things, we can talk about some of the things, because I had some things also. Are we saying we want to table the whole discussion until later?
I think we probably would be better to table anything that has to do with,
Okay. All right. Okay.
So we'll table that, put it on the agenda for next
For the
week.
next
Right.
time, because only two of us, I think we
Okay.
need all.
Sure.
No problem.
Okay.
And also in my packet is time for my annual evaluation. You have a copy of the work plan and the evaluation in your packet. If any questions, I'll be more than happy to.
Okay.
And again, that's the
that
same, you
needs to
know,
be tabled.
Yeah, that's going to be tabled. We're going to hold off on that for a little bit. Okay. All right. Let's see. I'd like to get a motion on moving into a closed session.
I so move, Mr. Chairman.
No, second.
Motion has been made and seconded to move into a closed session. All those in favor say aye.
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 North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11 regarding closed sessions, Section A, permitted purposes. It is the policy of this state that closed session shall be held only when required to permit a public body to act in the public interest as permitted in this section. A public body may hold a closed session and exclude the public only when a closed session is required. Also, item number 1, to prevent the disclosure of information that is privileged or confidential / pursuant to the law of this state.
Motion to go in closed session.
Okay. Motion to go into closed session.
Second that motion.
Okay. Motion has been made and seconded to go into closed session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.